Alright, what's up everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Strength Classroom. Today I'm going to talk about something that no one really thinks about when it comes to losing fat, losing strength, and how those two things coincide with each other. What you should be doing if you are actively trying to lose body fat and are worried about losing muscle, hey, it honestly might happen. But what you can do to lose as little muscle, if any, as possible is to try and still lift heavy. Now, you're not going to be breaking any world records. You're not going to be breaking any personal records. But what you should try to be doing is to stimulate those high threshold muscle fibers, which are responsible for stimulating muscle growth and muscle strength as much as possible. So you should still be putting in your heavy work. Just make sure you're hydrated because you don't want to pull anything, you don't want to get injured. But still do heavy work, as heavy as you possibly can right now. That's the key. Don't try and still lift the same weights when you were like 4% higher body fat and you had an additional 20 pounds on you. That's not a good idea. Don't try and break any records here. But what you can do in order to preserve as much muscle mass as possible is to lift heavier. I feel like a big mistake people make when they try and lose fat is start doing a high rep routine. Now, if you're doing a bunch of sets with a bunch of reps, that's going to require a lot of energy from you because you're going to be constantly moving. And do you have that energy? No, you don't. Because you are in a calorie deficit. You have less energy to spare. So you should actually be doing a lower volume routine, in my opinion, with heavier weights and longer rest periods. Especially if you're throwing in cardio. You don't want your resistance training portion of your routine to be cardio based, and then you got to throw in cardio on top of that? How does that make any sense? It doesn't. So always try and lift as heavy as you can. That's the key, as you can. Maybe look at your 1 rep maxes if you have any. Maybe knock off 5% of everything. 10% even. And try and build up from there. Because if you knock off 10%, you'll be able to build up, even if you're in a caloric deficit. And then you will preserve muscle. You will lose the fat that you desire to lose. And, you will look fantastic at the end of your cut. But don't try and make the mistake everyone does by shifting into a higher rep routine to quote unquote burn more calories. But that's what your caloric deficit is for. You're taking in less calories. So if you're taking in less calories, you don't want to burn more calories. You're going to literally burn yourself out and just eat yourself out of the diet because you're going to say, screw this, I don't want to do this anymore. So end of the day, if you're trying to lose weight and not lose muscle and not feel like crap, get into a caloric deficit, lift as heavy as possible to preserve your muscle. If you like this video, like, share, subscribe, do all that good stuff, and as always, class is dismissed.